What makes me me? I believe that God has designed each and every one of us with special traits, talents, and personalities that separate us from one another. Today I'm going to share with you what I believe my personal talent is and what makes me me, and that is my love and passion for fly fishing. I'm going to share with you 3 separate stories, the first being how I got into fly fishing, the second being the first time I ever went fly fishing, and closing with the most impactful competition I ever partook in my fly fishing career. You see, the beginning started for me long before I ever got my first fly rod. Fishing has always been a part of my life, and it was easy for me because I had 2 ponds basically out my back door. I grew up with my grandparents fishing, catching bass and bluegill, and it always just seemed something special for me. It always seemed like that was what I was meant to do. A family friend of mine named Chuck would always come out and fish with me throughout my childhood years, but his technique was different than mine. He was a fly fisherman. He always caught more fish than me, and the competition side of me always was jealous. I wanted to know how he did it, what made it so beautiful, and what separated him from everybody else. I asked him one day, "Mr. Chuck, would you please teach me how to fly fish?" Coincidentally, my 10th birthday was the following week. He came into the party with his wife and a box that was, at the time, taller than me, wrapped in trout wrapping paper, and I was absolutely so excited to know what was inside. The time came to open presents, and I sat the box in front of me, teared open the paper, and there was my very first fly fishing rod and reel. Little did I know that that tool would change the course of my life forever. The evening came, and as we set up the fly rod, I casted it and learned everything I could about it. It was absolutely fascinating to me. Following, a couple months later, my dad decided to take me on a camping trip. I put on my crunchy little waders, I rigged up my rod just the way Mr. Chuck had taught me, and walked towards the river. There stood a gentleman that looked like he came out of a Bass Pro Shops catalog. I turned around and he said, "Hi there, my name is Graham," just like graham crackers, and invited me to come and fish with him. He taught me everything he could, and there I caught my very first fish, and it was a trout, and I had no idea just how much that one specific moment would change my life forever. His best friend Paul, that was also there at the river with him, told me about the free fly fishing classes that the Pisgah Center for Wildlife Education offered, which was just next door. I got involved in the classes and learned everything that I could. I soon became a junior fly fishing instructor and guide and began to teach people the ways of fly fishing and just how much it changed my life, and I wanted to make it special for them as well. I then got involved with the competition side of it, and that was a total game changer for me. Competition is something I absolutely love. I always want to be the best that I can and to have a positive influence on those around me. I began competing when I was about 13 years old and competed up until I was about 17. I competed in the USA Youth National Fly Fishing Championships as the only female competitor. To say it was intimidating is an absolute understatement of the year. I showed up and to a room full of guys. They looked at me like I had 3 heads and that they'd never seen a girl with a fly rod before. But I was determined to not let that take anything away from me. I showed up to compete and to show what I was made of, and that's exactly how God designed me. I ended up competing and ended in 18 out of 32 boys. I was very proud of myself, and I was very proud of what I had accomplished. And even to combat with frigid temperatures, improper gear, and a ruthless competition, I can say that that competition has impacted me and my life and has shown me so much about myself. It's shown my determination, the challenges, and the obstacles that I have overcome even at 15 years old. I close to say that fly fishing has changed my life and has allowed me to travel all over the world. I had no idea just the beauty that God created, and I am so happy that I'm able to stand here in front of you today and to show that these opportunities and that these experiences have formed me into who I am today, standing in front of you at 17 years old. I thank you all so much for listening and hope that this encourages you to never let anything stop you and that you are amazing and you can do anything you set your mind to. Thank you so much, guys.